movies. And with me are my co-hosts, Dave Decay.
That's me.
And Professor So-and-so.
So
What's tonight's movie?
Yeah, tonight's movie is the sequel, more sequels here, to The Mummy, which I actually really kind of liked the first one, now that I went back and rewatched it. Never really my favorite series out of Universal, actually. So when we get to this one, The Mummy's Hand, I can kind of see why this wasn't one of my favorite Universal films.
It has kind of like a budget, third-rate, Abbott and Costello kind of guys in it. Yeah. And also, it has a lot to do with leaves. And also, why is it called The Mummy's Hand? It has nothing to do with hands.
I was about to say that myself. It has nothing to do with The Mummy's Hand. Maybe you can explain it, Professor.
Are you doing some science on your camera?
I think he is. I can smell him.
Minimum of 3 leaves. Maximum 9 leaves. No more than 9 ever. You have to be very precise with your leaf measurement. No less than 3, no more than 9 leaves, or your mummy will go buck wild.
You can only use only 3, but no more than 9.
3 is the number of the leaves, and the number of the leaves will be 3. Neither shall it be 2, nor 10, but 3.
And 9. 9 too.
Right.
Okay, so this film, again, like Spookgirl was saying, is very much of a kind of corny film, if I could say corny, I guess. It's very Abbott and Costello wanting to be.
It's like Abbott and Costello, but not funny.
I mean, they were even calling the one guy,
Babe.
You know, it's just kind of like, really?
I didn't care for this movie. I really didn't. I thought it was way too silly. It was too silly, and I didn't understand the Mummy's Hand reference.
I don't think there was enough science in it.
No, not enough science.
There was botany vis-a-vis the leaves, but that was about it. It was kind of a movie about tea.
Yeah, once again, this is the second Universal film about plants that wasn't very good. I think they need to stay away from the plants.
It was very odd. I mean, the Emperor from Return of the Jedi is telling his assistant, you know, basically I'm going to croak any moment, so here's the whole story of the mummy before I die.
And he tells him the whole story about the leaves. You know, there's 3 maximum, no more than 9.
And then they show the flashback, but they cut in the new mummy in the close-ups, and then they change the name of the princess, and then there's a lot of leaf talk.
And the mummy itself, okay, well, let's get to the story a little bit. You got these 2 guys, they're broke, and they decided to pick up a vase from a vendor, and on the back of the vase, it shows the tomb of Anti-Kanamenanana.
Ananxanamun.
Exactly. And, so they go to dig up the grave.
Wait. Go back. These 2 guys are broke, but one of them is just like an amateur archaeologist on the side.
Yeah.
So he knows how to read vases.
And there's magic in the movie, too. There's always got to be some kind of magic.
I didn't understand the mummy in this. What was with his eyes?
Oh, yeah. That was weird, too. One shot, he had no eyeballs. And then all of a sudden, he had these big, gigantic eyeballs staring at you. And then, no eyeballs again.
It's like they colored him out with Sharpie.
Must have something to do with the leaves. Maybe the more leaves he gets, the more eyeballs he has.
He seemed like he had lots of leaves, like they went way over 9.
I think he probably went up to 12 on that one.
He was having bottles of leaf juice, like, every 2 minutes.
It's kind of funny, too, because, again, the image most softcore casual people, those who are not that much into horror movies. I'm gonna write that down. Softcore casual. I like that name. Copyright. I think I'll copyright.
That's almost as good as those two guys who came up with the Rebequel.
Okay, so what was I even talking about?
Oh, I remember. You were talking about how the stereotypical image of the mummy is that he's got a gimpy arm and he drags his foot. And that's from this movie because he didn't have enough juice.
You know, I'm sure I could probably take the guy. I'm not saying, you know, I wouldn't be able to. I'm pretty sure I could take. I think you, Professor So-and-so, could even take this guy.
I don't know. I mean, he attacked old people and they went down pretty fast.
That's because he had 9 leaves. But if he was on his 3rd leaf, I think you could take him.
And then there's that little Arabian dude that was running around putting bottles in tents for him to find, like some sort of video game.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of the movie, the mummy was lit. I can tell you that.
He had to find the bottles.
So, yeah, and I think that's where the image of this mummy with one arm and dragging his leg behind him came from. And to tell you the truth here is that because of that, he wasn't very scary. There was nothing in this movie that was very scary. The monster was kind of a wimp, unless he got like 12 leaves in him. Otherwise, he was kind of a wimp and he wasn't very scary.
The fact that the image of a gimpy mummy dragging his leg comes from this movie because he didn't have enough juice, and that every other mummy after that has had a bad leg and a gimpy arm is the stupidest thing ever. Ever!
They also had quite a bit of leaves in every movie, I think. It was very strange because when I was watching the first Mummy, I thought about the leaves. I actually was thinking, well, aren't they supposed to have some sort of leaves or something?
There were 0 leaves in that movie, and it was a good movie. This movie had a ton of leaves and it was bad!
Basically, he makes this sweet tea or unsweetened tea or something, and it gives him fuel.
I liked when they went into the tomb and the guy opened a giant jar. It was like 4 foot tall, and he was like, "Oh, this is all full of leaves. That's weird." And then 2 seconds later, they're like, "Wasn't that jar full of leaves?" And they're just like, "Yeah." And then, "Well, it's not now. Somebody came in and took all the leaves."
As we were over here staring at an empty coffin.
And even with all those leaves, his arm and his leg were still all jacked up. Stupid!
We never found out who took the leaves.
He was probably like doing lines of them off the camera, just sitting there sniffing them up, all the lines of leaves.
They vaped him. Wake up, vape up.
Yeah, he vaped them. He was probably vaping them back off stage.
That's what all those bottles of juice were that guy kept dropping off as his vape juice for his rig. He's got to jack up the ohms.
I think so. I think you got it, Spook Girl. I think you nailed it.
He's got to blow some cumulonimbus. Some big, chunky rips of cotton.
The mummy, being all jacked up on the leaves, walks straight up to the Indiana Jones character, and the guy has the gun pointed right at him, and he's firing, and it still won't kill the mummy. I mean, he's literally like 1 foot away from him, and still firing.
Why didn't he die, Spook Girl?
It's because he's got that leaf power.
Probably pretty powerful.
All that sweet tea.
He was in the south of Egypt. He had sweet tea.
Alright, so overall, this kind of was a mess. And hopefully, the Mummy movies get better after this one. So, I am going to give this one a 2 out of 5.
I really did not enjoy this film. I thought it was just terrible. The acting was just terrible. The movie was just, it was terrible. It was actually one of those that you could, well, okay, I'll give it this much. You could probably put it on Mystery Science Theater or something like that and have a good time with it. But outside of that, it was pretty terrible as far as the story and the acting. Pretty dumb. So I give it Also a 2 out of 5.
I'd like to say that I would give it 3 leaves, because then it would just be maintaining, kind of. But it's not even worth 3 leaves. It's only worth 2 leaves out of 5 leaves. And you better make a graphic, a Tana-leaf graphic, just for my rating. 2 leaves out of 5. It will never get 9 leaves.
Well, where we go from here is a live screaming tonight. We are doing 31 straight days with Dave and Becky. Horror games all month long. So if you thought this review was scary, you haven't seen anything yet.
And you should tune in, because who knows, they might be hopped up on leaves. Probably not, but maybe. If we can get our hands on a stash. A sweet Tana leaf stash. Oh, we're gonna get buck wild with the leaves.